Hello, Happy New Year, and welcome to Money Matters. As we start the new year, we speak to the European Chamber of Commerce, a chamber of chambers representing 13 European chambers in Hong Kong. Chair Iñaki Amate spoke to me about what members are hoping to see in Hong Kong this year, as the government has signaled a lowering of COVID restrictions. Iñaki, thank you so much for joining us on the first show of 2023.
Thank you very much for having me.
What is Eurocham hoping to see from the Hong Kong government this year?
For us, what we really expect is to see the normality coming back to Hong Kong. And for that to be possible, we need to remove the remaining complexities that make people believe that it's difficult to come to Hong Kong. Also remove all perception that coming to Hong Kong is still risky, because nobody from abroad knows exactly well, what happens when you come here. Do you risk to test positive and then be placed in quarantine?
What do you think needs to happen for Hong Kong to move past this COVID mentality?
So the first thing we need to do is we need to stop reporting numbers. The next thing we need to do is we need to be completely fine with not having to wear a mask in public. The rest of the world has moved on and is still okay. So I think we all need to realize that the behaviors we have acquired during these last years are not normal.
Are you finding that people outside of Hong Kong still feel that it's unsafe to come here?
The image of Hong Kong abroad, we believe, is still at the very lowest point, and it's very important that we change that, and we need to all collaborate to change that image. Images that people have seen across the border in China and then what happened here in Hong Kong tend to be blurred. What we need is to do some coordinated work to go out, invite people, come over to Hong Kong, and obviously to demonstrate that the situation is what it is.
Is it difficult when you're trying to hire talent to come to Hong Kong?
Absolutely, because obviously people have a lot of choices nowadays, especially if you are in high demand.
Is it difficult to get companies to open up their budgets?
It's very difficult because typically the headquarters abroad, when they are abroad, they are questioning whether Hong Kong is a good place to invest nowadays. The relevance of Hong Kong abroad also has been reduced as a regional headquarters, because the inability for people to travel meant that some organizations are starting to question whether they were able to do what they used to do when in Hong Kong. So headquarters nowadays are starting to think, Hong Kong is not anymore the first place I want to start investing. The organizations that are here, they struggle to attract budgets that would actually help them to attract talent. So it's a chicken and egg. We need to basically convince headquarters that yes, Hong Kong is going to continue to be relevant. The role of Hong Kong is going to continue to be very important as a gateway to China, but also as a gateway to the rest of the region. And therefore, it's worth investing in bringing money and then also attracting talent.
Right. So basically, the members of European Chamber of Commerce still feel that Hong Kong is very relevant?
Absolutely. Hong Kong is going to be, in the future, short-term, long-term, one of the most important places in the world. Geographically, because it's the most natural gateway for doing business in China. And China is going to continue being one of the most dominant economies in the world, and also because geographically as well, it plays a very important role in this region, in the Asia Pacific.
What about the geopolitical situation? I mean, you've got, you have the US trying to get their allies to take sides. Where do your members stand on this?
Geopolitics are going to continue to be played, but we remain quite optimistic. There are good signs. The leaders of the US and China are finally starting to talk. We have seen also some of the European leaders meeting with China's leaders. For business, it's critical that we actually continue to talk, and we continue to find ways to enable the possibility for our members to do businesses.
Okay. How important is the China border reopening to your members?
We think that the reopening is going to be fundamental for the reactivation of the economy, not just in China, but also in Hong Kong. Imagine, the day that travelers and tourists are able to visit Hong Kong, new opportunity for sectors that have been actually almost closed down for so many years, right?
Rule of law is one of the things that is seen as really attractive to multinationals for coming to Hong Kong. Is there any concern among your members that, this is on shaky ground given the recent case with Jimmy Lai, Apple Daily?
We are obviously watching carefully how that is going to be played. But overall, we remain optimistic about the fact that the rule of law in Hong Kong is going to remain in place and as it has been until now.
Is the security law really an issue for your members, or are they more concerned about laws that apply to doing business?
It's much more about the laws that apply to how to do business. I think those are the things that really matter the most, because they are the ones that help them to know in what environment they are operating. And if there are concerns about some of those regulations being unfair or not being up to date, then we actually help them to interact with the government to make the necessary recommendations so that the regulation can evolve.
Now, recently, the government announced a plan to make Hong Kong a digital asset hub. Is this something that is of high interest to your members?
Absolutely, and I think it is not just our members, I think it's in general for everyone. And we are very much looking forward to understand the next level of detail on what it's going to mean, because a lot of our members are looking at Hong Kong and this announcement as an opportunity. And we are very much looking forward and offering our help also to understand how we can contribute.
And Hong Kong also wants to be a hub for data. Do you have any comments on this? Is there any concern when it comes to data?
If Hong Kong wants to position as a hub for data, is something that for our members that many times operate across different legislations in terms of data, it makes it really interesting, but we also need to understand what it's going to mean in practice. So some of our members have already expressed interest in understanding a lot more in detail how that is going to be played.
What are some of your takeaways from the last 3 years, and what would you want the government to look at?
I think for organizations, for businesses, it's important that we understand that this might happen again. And I think the lesson is actually, well, you probably should have always some sort of plan B, plan C for potentially disruptive scenarios. Maybe create a sort of a playbook of what worked, what didn't work for future administrations. We all know that this will probably happen again, so hopefully leaving some legacy for the future generations on what we learn out of this crisis.
Thank you so much, Iñaki.
Thank you very much.
Here's to good 2023.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you.
Thanks.
A small but expanding group of racers, engineers, and entrepreneurs are converting vintage cars and trucks into greener and much faster electric vehicles. Electronic cars, or EVs, are often derided by some petrol heads as resembling golf carts or remote-controlled cars. And yet, electric powertrain conversions are becoming more mainstream. Kevin Erickson, who converted his 1972 Plymouth Satellite into an EV, says he takes those jokes as compliments because cars like his are fast.
It's a 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, and that's because of the 636 horsepower, top speed about 155, quarter mile, 12-second flat, but it can still handle. This is not just a straight line car, it handles like a Corvette.
Erickson bought the car for $6,500 and has put about $60,000 into the EV conversion. In May, an insurance company conducted a web-based survey of 25,000 car nuts and found that 10% had either partially or fully converted their classic cars to run on an electric drivetrain.
It is definitely a trend, and the way we look at it is it's just another option or another avenue for a vehicle owner or enthusiast to personalize their own vehicle to suit their needs.
The top reasons for converting their vehicles: the need for speed, followed by the environmental benefits. It's the promise of super improved performance that has fueled the pro-environment upcycling.
We're taking an old car that would have stayed in a junkyard for the rest of its life until it hit the crusher and quadrupled the power, and we're putting it back on the road with today's technology.
Those thinking of trying the same thing should stop and consider these are not just plug-and-play endeavors. Yet the future of the emerging industry seems optimistic.
I think it's a legitimate business now. I think that this is a legitimate future for classic cars. And I don't think we really believed that a year and a half ago. You know, I think it was kind of, we thought more a year and a half ago was to be more niche-y or for people with super high budgets, you know? But I do think at this point, this is going to be the future of electric car, or of hot rodding and classic cars.
Coming up on Money Matters, how the continued exodus of people from Hong Kong has hit flat prices. Stay with us. Welcome back to Money Matters. Overall property prices dropped 10.5% this year, but the mass market suffered the worst declines. Some Hong Kong homeowners are planning to leave Hong Kong and are offering big discounts to unload their properties. Alice Khan reports on the bargains to be had in the heart of Wan Chai.
In Wan Chai, we revisited the largest development in the district, the Avenue. It was built by the Sino Group, Hopewell Holdings, and the Urban Renewal Authority in 2015. The project offers more than 1,200 units. The flat sizes range from 330 to 2,300 square feet. Almost 80% of the residents living in the Avenue are expats, many working in the finance industry. Over the past year, the prices in the project have dropped by 10% on average. So we had a look at a flat to see what value it offered. The unit we explored is in a tower located on Tai Yuen Street, which is 3 minutes away from the trendy Li Tung Avenue. Tai Yuen Street is filled with rows of stores selling kids' collectibles and small local restaurants. We found a 531 square foot flat. The homeowner moved overseas and put it on the market for $18.8 million in June. He cut the price to $15.8 million in October, and again to $14.35 million now, a drop of nearly 24%. So we checked out the layout to see whether the flat is a steal or still overpriced.
This is an open kitchen. Is it original layout?
Yes, it is. Let me show you.
Oh, is it a microwave?
No, it is a wine fridge. And Alice, this is an oven, big enough for baking cakes or even roasting the turkeys. And this is the fridge.
Wow, the fridge is so small.
Then we checked the storage space in the kitchen.
Oh, that's for meter.
Yeah, this is for meter. And here, this is the space you can have put your bowls and dishes here.
Then here?
This is the main part of the cooking hood.
Oh dear, that's not enough space for storage.
Food prep will be tricky on the small countertop.
That's why the landlord have tailor-made the island table. There's some shelf under for the storage thing, and this is a dining area as well.
Then this table is only fit 2 people.
The table can move and it can be shoot for 6 people. And for the new buyer, you can rebuild the island table and place the fridge underneath for the island table.
Okay, that solved the problem.
The open kitchen and the dining area are 100 square feet. Next, we check the sitting room, which is 120 square feet. Placing furniture here will be easy.
This sofa is only for 2 people. Then can we fit a larger sofa in this sitting room?
You can fit a freezer sofa here, and this is long enough that you can put more 2-seat sofa here and put a coffee table at the middle.
The sitting room has large walls for ample opportunity for decoration.
This one is large that it is comfort for the art piece. You can have a painting here as well.
Then over here, there's quite a lot of space. And can we put cabinets and a large bookshelf here?
You can here you can make a cabinet, or from the floor to the ceiling bookshelf if you like it.
Chris, it also has a very wide and large wall on this side.
You can make your home cinema here. You can put your screen here, and you have a projector at here. And under the screen, you can have a desk. On the top, you can put the figurines, photos, and candles for decorate for the home.
Chris reckons expats would like this flat.
Well, Chris, this sitting room actually is not large, but expats usually love a larger living space.
Yes, actually, there is more space. Let me show you.
Pulling back the curtain reveals a door leading to an outdoor area.
Oh, it's a terrace. But what's the size of this terrace?
It's 220 square feet.
Is it like a size of a nano flat?
Yeah, it's just like the size of nano bed, included the living room, bedroom, and washroom as well. The landlord already set some tables and chairs here, and they got an umbrella as well, so that they can have a drink at this area. Alice, let's go over there. We can set up a barbecue stove here, and we can have a barbecue party here.
Then can we fit a long table here, because this area is quite long?
Yes, you can set up a big table here with accompany about 15 people.
The flat is a special unit because it comes with the terrace. The developer set the price of this unit 25% higher than those above when it launched the unit.
Chris, but the view-wise, actually quite a lot of buildings surrounding this flat.
Actually, there's a mountain view here. You can see the peak, and you can see there's a tree nearby as well.
But there's a construction going on there. Would the view would be affected?
Yeah, maybe the view will be blocked a little. Even the construction here, you can still get enough spaces between us.
Okay, then show me the bedroom then. Chris, how many bedrooms in this flat?
There's a 2-bedroom. This is the first bedroom.
Oh, it's very small. What is the size of this bedroom?
It is only 50 square feet, and it only can shoot for the single bed. You can put a single bed here, and the headboard at the wall, and the wardrobe, and place it here.
The homeowner turned this bedroom into an office. It has enough room to fit a desk and bookshelf.
If the future owner is a lady, actually can change this room to the walk-in closet and put all her clothing, shoes, accessory, handbags, all in this walk-in closet room.
Okay, then show me the master bedroom. This master bedroom is quite large. What's the size?
This is 120 square feet.
Oh, and is it a king-size bed?
Yes, this is a king-size bed. And look, even places the king-size bed, there's still a room can walk around the bed. The expert would like it.
It has room for a large wardrobe.
Yes, actually there is a small spaces. Let me show you.
Wow, there's another terrace.
Yes, this is another terrace, and the size here is around 180 square feet.
Chris, what is this area used for then?
Actually, you can build your own secret garden. You can see that there's a building very close to us, so you can plant some tall trees here to get more privacy. And if you like, you can plant more herbs, flowers, and you can have your fish pond here if you like it. You can set up a table here to have a more relaxing space, to have another entertainment zone.
Then how many people can fit in this area then?
4 to 6 people.
Okay, then we can have a small party here, the big party over on the other side.
The bathroom is about 50 square feet. It also has a reasonably sized window, which is good for ventilation. The homeowner is asking $14.35 million for this special unit.
This price valuation, which is around 15.33 million honky. So the current asking price is actually around 6% below the bank's valuation.
It is also one of the cheapest flats in the project.
This is a special unit with the terrace area of about 440 square feet in total. Actually, we have applied a conversion factor of 25% to the terrace area. So effective terrace area, which is around 110 square feet. Adding to the sellable area itself, the total effective sellable area, which is 641 square feet. Based on this effective sellable area, the unit rate of the asking price, which is around 22,000 honky per square feet. Looking at the transactions of the building itself, it is in the range of 22,000 per square feet to 25,000 per square feet. So I think now the price of this unit, which is quite reasonable.
Kit says transaction prices in the Avenue have already dropped by 10% over the past year. He says interest rate hikes and current market conditions have dampened buying sentiment.
The Avenue, it is subject to a bigger discount because the demand for the residential units located in, for example, Wan Chai, most of the home occupiers, they are actually the middle-class level working in Greater Central, working for the financial industry. Under the current market, the financial industry which is affected by the general market most extensively. That's why this will directly affect the income level of the potential home buyer in this district.
Nothing says Lapland like snow. At this time of year, people come to this fluffy Finnish paradise to enjoy the winter season. But it's clear everyone takes pleasure in the snow. And studies show it is good for you. Scientists in Poland and Britain say the frosty surroundings can be clinically beneficial for people who have a poor body image. A poor body image can include risky behavior, like unnecessary dieting.
In our previous research, we've shown that exposure to natural environments or nature, in very simple terms, is associated with more positive body image. People who spend time in nature experience an immediate benefit in terms of their positive body image.
87 women were given tests and were asked standard medical questions before and after they were sent to walk in the snowy woodland. The researchers say the improvement wasn't simply in mood, but in how people saw themselves. After 40 minutes outdoors, people scored higher in body appreciation and self-compassion. Lots of previous studies show that being close to nature and exercising does improve people's mood generally. The professor believes it may be when we're out enjoying nature, we are performing a form of mindfulness, unshackling our thoughts and the stresses that burden us at normal times. He says the next step is to do further studies to discover if snow is more restorative than other warmer landscapes.
That's the show. Thanks for watching. Next week on Money Matters, a look at how new businesses are working to make some money and the world a more sustainable place. Bye for now.